You've probably had this experience before. An exciting idea pops into your mind, maybe for a new project, a student club, a business, a research topic, or even just a creative way to approach a class. You feel energized for a moment. You might write it down or talk about it with a friend. But then days pass, the idea fades, and nothing happens. You're not alone. Today, in our final episode of Developing Agency in Practice, we're talking about one of the most common and most misunderstood parts of student life. Why it's so hard to turn ideas into action, and how to actually do it. Because agency isn't just about thinking, it's about doing. And no matter how smart, creative, or thoughtful you are, your agency won't grow if your ideas never leave the notebook. So let's dive in. There are many reasons, but here are 3 of the most common among college students. Fear. There's a fear factor. What if I fail? What if people think it's dumb? And the second factor is being overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. That's too much going on. And the third reason is perfectionism. I can't do it yet. I need more time, more skills, or more confidence. All these sounds familiar to you? Here is what I want you to hear. You don't need to be fearless, fully ready, or perfectly planned to begin. You just need to start small and start somewhere. And let's talk about how. So most people think action means launching a full-scale event or finishing a huge project. But agency is built through micro-actions, small steps that signal your brain, I'm moving forward. Here are examples of real action. It could be just simple as writing a 1-page draft of your idea, or sending a message to someone for feedback, or talking to a professor about what's possible, or making a 5-slide pitch deck or 2-minute videos. Or it could be just simple as like asking a classmate if they would like to collaborate. So these actions don't need to be polished. They just need to happen. Because the moment your idea moves from your mind into the world, it becomes real. And reality can be always shaped. And this is a practical tool I use with students all the time. So why don't you ask yourself the following questions? If I had just 1 hour to move this idea forward, what would I do? Not a week, not a semester, just 1 hour. Could you write an outline? Or could you research what already exists? Or can you design a flyer or Google form? Or can you ask one person for their honest reaction? So when you think in small, concrete moves, your brain stops panicking, but starts building. So you can try this one. Take any idea you've been holding on to and write it down. 3 1-hour move. Then pick one and schedule it this week. This is as simple as this. So not a big sort of plans and action, but just very, very small move that you can just do in 1 hour. We don't just struggle to act, we struggle to keep going. That's why you need structures that support momentum. Here are 2 simple options. First is to have an accountability partner. You have to find a friend, classmate, or a mentor. And you can share what you plan to do this week. And you can ask them to check in with you. The second is public progress. You can post updates in a class group or Instagram story or even journal. Visibility increases follow through and might attract collaborators. So remember, it's okay to start messy. You don't need applause. You just need consistency. So let me tell you a story. One of my students had an idea for a mental health zone on campus. Sorry for my mispronunciation. Mental health zone. Short, anonymous reflections from students. For months, she hesitated. She wasn't sure if it was professional enough. And she didn't have a design background. She kept waiting to feel ready. Eventually, we sat down and asked, so what's your next 1 hour move? And she said, I guess I could make a Google form and write an intro. And she did it at that night. And within 3 days, she had 40 responses. A month later, she printed volume 1. That's the power of small visual actions. And it turns quiet thoughts into shared change. And the step 4 might be the most important shift of all. Most of us don't act because we fear we'll mess things up and what that might mean about us. But here's what high agency thinkers know. Every result is either progress or data. There's no wasted effort if you are paying enough attention. And if your event flops, what did you learn? If your email gets ignored, how can you revise your approach? If you get stuck, what help could you ask for? The goal isn't flawless execution. The goal is forward motion and adaptive learning. This part gets skipped, especially by ambitious students. But if you don't take time to celebrate progress, your brain won't register momentum, and you will burn out or give up pretty soon. So after each 1 hour move, you have to pause and say to yourself, I just did something my past self kept putting off. And that's what's called growth. That's the agency. And that counts. You don't need a medal. You just need a quiet moment of pride. So what will you do next? Or what can you do next? Not someday, not next year, not when you're ready. But now, right now. Just one small action, just one small message, just 1 hour. Because you don't have to build the whole staircase, you just have to take the next step, all right? So in this episode, we've explored what agency really means. We've looked at how it's shaped by your thinking, your habits, and your relationships, and your actions. And now, it is your turn to keep going, because the future won't just be shaped by those with ideas. Instead, it will be shaped by those who act on to them consistently, courageously, and creatively. Thank you very much for walking this journey with me, and remember, you don't need permission to begin, you only need to begin. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.